What is going on, everybody? It's Alex, come back here with another video, and today we're doing round 3, only of 4 of this mock draft. So we've had some mixed reviews on round 2, round 1, and that's okay. Obviously, the whole entire point of us doing this every week is so that we get better. Maybe this might not be some of your guys' favorite things, but you know what? We take risks, we take shots, we have some fun, and you know what? Do I regret any of the picks? Absolutely not. Some of you guys are trying to say that I'm Vikings, like a Vikings supporter. I'm definitely not, as a guy who loves the Bears. But, you know, for you guys who are saying some of these trades don't make sense, I think they 100% do. You know, Pat Freiermuth, that's probably the one that I've gotten the most feedback on. Pat Freiermuth is, I think he's honestly still a pretty solid pick. I think I would rather take him than anybody else at that spot. Mainly due to the fact that, A, we can get linebacker here. Then B, we can also get rid of Dallas Goedert if we don't want to re-sign him next year. So with the cap situation we're dealing with, not to mention the fact that the NFL cap is dropping, it will go back up. But there is cap issues that we need to discuss. So that is one of them. And you know what? I'm perfectly fine with it. The whole entire point of this is just to take shots, have fun, and just enjoy the ride. So Vikings, we had this, I believe, as part of the deal with the Jaguars moving up to select Kyle Pitts, which it's unfortunate because, of course, I would love to get the Jaguars the ability to get a safety at this spot. But I think we need to address there's a couple spots that we can go with this pick, right? We already got edge, 100% true. Next, we can look at line. I'm pretty sure Deontay Brown was taken, so we could be looking at a guy like, I seriously don't think Tyler Linderbaum is really going to go there. He might be going back to school. He might have already. I'm not 100% sure. You guys can check me on that. He's not going to go in this round. So we'll do some research on that. But looking at it, we could be going interior defensive line or even tackle with Daniel Faalele on the board. But this might be a good spot to trade back. Looking at like the picks on the board, yes, we have a billion picks. We could be going a safety though. If we want to get a strong safety, I don't think there's anybody better than Paris Ford at this point. We definitely should probably go with him. I know I'm killing all my Jags fans by taking Paris Ford, Javon Holland, Trayvon Moehrig. It is unfortunate, but that's definitely the way that I kind of want to go. Jets, we can look at the guys on the board, and I want to see who the Falcons got in the second round here. I'm looking at it. They got Najee, so they're going to be looking for an edge. So I was thinking about maybe trading back and then accumulating some extra picks for getting like a Patrick Jones or something like that. I think Patrick Jones might be too good to pass up on at this point, looking at the guys who are available. Tylan Wallace would be an interesting option here, but 100%, I'm going to be 100% honest, we could either go, we'll probably go like Pete Werner in another round. We could even go Jabril Cox at this point. I don't think that's going to be the best option. I think we got to fix up that pass rush first. We fixed up a little bit. We fixed up the defense at the corner. Some of you guys didn't like Eric Stokes. I love Eric Stokes, so that's where my opinion is going to be coming into this equation. Patrick Jones is a guy definitely worth this pick. He could be worth a round 2 pick as well. If we were looking at the Ravens, they might have wanted to go a guy like Patrick Jones, but as of right now, I think it's 100% fair to be able to go with the Patrick Jones route. Now, Eagles. I'm saying, like, the Texans are right here, but I'm talking to you guys because we're moving up. You guys have 2 third-round picks. We are moving up with the Eagles. And, if we're looking at it, you guys already know where I would go. I would go probably Deontay Brown if he were there for the Texans, but he's not there. So we are going to be going with the Eagles moving up because, look, they have all these picks. And some of you guys say that it's not realistic. If we're not mistaken, I think the Dolphins, traded back 4 spots or something like that for a 4th-round pick as well as a 1st round in last year's class. So for you guys saying like it's unrealistic for the pick value, this is a mathematical model. I'm not going to be trading it back for just a 7th, okay? We will be throwing in a 6th in there. It's going to be a mid-6th, but it's still going to be a 6th. It's just I don't really understand the hate on that because we got a guy right here in Jabril Cox. I know we need a safety as well, and we are going to be taking that. But Jabril Cox is here, and I don't think there's any way around it. We got to take him. Got to take him at this point. That's 100% the biggest need. Now, Falcons, we got to get some edge pressure there, right? We got to get some edge pressure. We got to get a guy who's proven. Hamilcar Rashed still on the board. I don't know whether to give him the respect he deserves or not. But I mean, again, I don't know 100% everything about him, and this team might be in rebuild mode. So if you want a guy who, like, if we're looking at it, Victor is literally almost 2 years older than either of these guys. I think Victor's the best choice right here. Look at him; he's almost a 2000 kid. He's really young too. Victor, he has played really solid. I've seen some of my buddies on Twitter, kind of like a plug right there. I've seen some of their draft reports on him, and they like him a lot. Yes, the hair is going to be a big issue. It's a big issue every damn video. Got no haircut right now, and that's all right. Bengals, this is an interesting one. An interesting spot right here. We have two routes we can go. Yes, Darian Kendrick is going back to school. That would be a great pick, right? That would be wonderful. It would be splendid. He's not there. We could be going to Kerry Vincent Jr. here, which, again, I'm not a fan of. Could go Israel Mukuamu. I think he's a little bit like George Iloka. Like, he's a lighter George Iloka with better man skills. I mean, it's basically the size comparison. But, again, I don't think that it's probably the best choice to take at this spot when there are tackles on the board with some really high-end talent. Walker Little being that guy. I like him more than Tevin Jenkins. Tevin Jenkins is great, too. Don't get me wrong. He didn't let up a sack for 2 years either. Daniel Faalele is the highest ceiling guy, but I think he's more developmental. And I'm pretty sure you want to get a guy who's seasoned to be able to protect your number one pick. Get Walker Little in there. Now, if you look at it, you have Jamar Chase, Trey Smith, Walker Little. You're fixing up that offense. You're going to be able to actually put up some good points, and then you're going to be able to use your big investment in Joe Mixon. That's going to be absolutely wonderful. Looking at this next pick, I mean, I'm still a little bit hesitant on like being at this spot, given the fact that also they don't have any picks. You know, there is the idea that trading Deshaun Watson to the Dolphins for Tua in a first, and like their early first, which, to be honest, I think that would benefit both teams. But, you know, I'm not down for that idea. I think that this might still be a good place to move back. And looking at the guys on the board, you still have Hamilcar Rashed here if we wanted to get him. There's still Cameron McGrone on the board. That's probably going to be gone by the next pick. But looking at it, shoot. There's not really too much on the board where there's going to need to be a team moving up for them. We could be looking at a team like the Ravens trying to make a big move and try to trade up some draft picks in order to get Brevin Jordan. It's 100% true. It's 100% valid too. So let's check out to see where the Ravens are. And you guys might say, that's a huge jump. But, I mean, the Texans, there's no value for line. They need to fix up line. They need to fix up edge. There's good edge depth, especially in the third round, especially if we can get the Ravens. I'm not 100% sure. That's the whole entire reason we're checking this out. I'm not 100% sure what their third round situation is. They don't even have a third round. So that's not going to be a viable option. Look at that. That's wonderful. That's amazing. I'm very surprised. Fucking gravity, right? But looking at the guys on the board, I think we might just have to go with a guy like Hamilcar Rashed or a Quincy Roche. Or we can even go for a guy like Israel Mukuamu. Because this team, they're kind of screwed. And this is something that I throw up in the air. Usually new regimes like to take a safe player first so that they don't look bad by missing one. Israel Mukuamu might be worth it, though. That's the thing. He might be worth it. Stiff hips. He's electric. He's fun. He's South Carolina. I don't know. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pull the trigger on Israel Mukuamu. I'm a huge fan of him. Look at him. He's like 6'3", 6'4", above 200 pounds. He's young as well, super lanky, but I mean he still has pretty good size for his size, and I think that's 100% gonna be the right pick. This is a spot where I'm split between a guy like Tevin Jenkins and a guy like Cameron McGrone, because we do need to get a linebacker with Jared Davis leaving, but also that line is Garbo. I think we got to go Cameron McGrone here because there is a semi-big drop-off after him. McGrone is somebody where you can take a shot on a player as well. You're already fixed up your defensive front. Now you can start trying to fix it with the linebackers. With Cameron McGrone not being as good in the run game, having a guy, I believe they got Davion Nixon or something last year. Yeah, getting a guy like Davion Nixon to soak up the double teams is going to be able to let Cameron McGrone be able to grow more comfortably into a NFL-style defense. Because, again, I don't like him in the run game. He gets, like, kind of messed up with a little bit. But he has a lot of potential. A lot of potential. Very good athlete as well. I don't even know if he's going to declare, to be honest. Just because I think he could improve his draft stock by going back another year. This is the best pick for, of course, the Philadelphia Eagles. Andre Cisco. So you're getting Andre Cisco. Ooh, whew. I just had a heart attack right there, guys. Did you not see that arrow about to like back out of the entire draft? That scared the shit out of me. But you get Jabril Cox as well as Andre Cisco with being able to get Pat Fryermuth here. I don't think, and then also you get, of course, we get the number one potentially cornerback of the draft, Caleb Farley. This is kind of like an all-star draft for you guys. So, for you guys who are trying to complain, no longer a need to complain. It's a pretty good draft for you guys. Broncos, looking at it, I think that maybe we should get some interior defensive line presence, especially with how many great guys are on the board. We can look at it. I think Christian Barmore might be the best guy on the board. Darius Stills is the guy who makes the biggest impact, but Christian Barmore is he's an Alabama interior defensive lineman. He has the potential to be a Quinnen Williams. You can look at a Jalen Tweeman even if you want to get like a high-end player, but to be honest, I think this team is kind of tired of dealing with high-end players. You can even get the Haskell Garrett out of the Ohio State University and then pair him up with, I'm forgetting the guy's name. You drafted one literally 2 years ago out of Ohio State. So I know you guys do like interior defensive lineman at Ohio State, but we're going to get Christian Barmore here. And might as well. It's a third-round pick, and people are saying he's going to go in the first. I don't think so. He's young, athletic. He's a fun talent. He's a really good talent. We just didn't see him make the jump that we thought he would, and that honestly might make him drop because we like to see those incremental improvements. Cowboys. I think this is where we got to go for an interior defensive line. We got to fix up either the edge, which again, we could get Hamilcar Rashed or Quincy Roche to add on to Lawrence, but I'm not 100% down for that. I think that maybe getting a true, proven interior defensive lineman in this round would be the best pick. I mean, we could even go after Haskell Garrett here. We could even trade back, but looking at the guys on the board, you still have Brevin Jordan on the board. Daniel Faalele is on the board. I don't think this is... I mean, we could take him and then have him sit and then allow him to grow under Tyron Smith because he is a little bit raw. That might be the best choice right here, or getting Quincy Roche. But looking at a guy like Darius Stills, he makes a play every single play. Every single play. I see this dude just pushing through dudes. And I have a West Virginia fan on the channel right now. He loves Darius Stills as well. And I usually like to tone down people's fandom, but usually when fans come saying this guy is amazing, they watch him every play and they see how good he is. Fans know their players far better than us analysts. That's why I like to listen to you guys, right? So let's kick off with Darius Stills for the Cowboys. You know, we got quite a few interior defensive linemen going in the past, probably 10 picks. So that's okay. You know, it's a good class. It's a good class. That's probably why they're falling as well. G-Men, unfortunately, I would love to have gone probably like Mukawamu for you guys, but he's not there. Again, Darian Kendrick, not going to be a factor. Kerry Vincent, you already have Darnay Holmes there. Like, all these other guys, I don't really think are worth this third-round pick. And the linebackers, I mean, we could go Pete Werner, but I think he's a little bit too similar to Blake Martinez, so it's probably not the best choice. We could be going for a guy like Charles Snowden later on, who's more of a project. I think right now is a good spot to probably trade back. We could be going a tight end if you want to replace Evan Engram, if you want to use him as trade bait. That could be 100% a good move. Probably trade him to the Saints if you want to if they want to get Jared Cook out of there, because he is getting old and probably coming up on contract sometime soon. So that could be an interesting idea. If they could trade Evan Engram for maybe a next year first, and then maybe they could swap this third round pick with Evan Engram for that next year first. If the Saints don't have Drew Brees, they could potentially get like a top 10 pick next year as well. They could have 2 top 10 picks. That'd be pretty fun, right? But looking at it, I think that this is a good spot to trade down. Daniel Faalele, you already have a guy, Matt Peart, there to take over that tackle spot as well. That you have Andrew Thomas, Matt Peart. I think those are 2 great options for the long haul. I think that there's still good tackles on the board. There's still probably teams that are in need of tackles, and I'm looking for them right now. I can't really find them. But looking at teams, I mean, we already got one for this team. The Jets could be looking to move up, though. With how the Giants don't really have anything on the board right now, I think it might not be a bad choice for the Jets to move up. We've seen them go with Patrick Jones here. We've seen them go with ETN as well, per usual. I think this would be a good spot for the Jets to... New York is trading with New York. They're homies, all right? They're moving up with the Giants to be able to select Daniel Faalele. Because, I mean, at this point, a 6th-round pick is probably not worth it. We're going to put in the 5th here, and we're going to ask for a next year 7th in return, just to make it a little bit more fair. Because, of course, also, we're not even doing a 5th round, so it's not going to make an impact on our draft, but that's a big-ass jump. That's a huge jump. Daniel Faalele, if he can grow behind a guy like George Fant, and then he steps in, you have literally 6'7", 385, and 6'8", 400 as your 2 tackles. No excuses for any quarterback that is there. You're going to have a really solid line. You can even kick Fant back to guard, or into guard, and then he can take over for Van Roten, I believe, who you do already have there. Washington, again, we could be going Brevin Jordan here just based off the fact that, I mean, Logan Thomas, he just randomly is good without being special. You guys do need a safety, though. Looking at it, you guys need a true free safety. I like Hufanga for you guys. Hufanga, I mean, some of you guys are saying he's a strong safety, but he has the range to play a free safety. We could look at his ideal role. If look, starting safety, like really? Any scheme? Exactly. So I've seen Hufanga play a lot. Some of you guys don't like Hufanga. I love Hufanga. We could be looking at Kobe Harvey-Peel in the next round as well. But I think that we have to go after Hufanga at this spot. I love Hufanga. I love the value he brings to the table. I like him more than Richard LeCount. He is a really talented player out of USC. It's kind of weird how the draft board falls just based on the fact that there are a lot of really good players in this draft, as there is in every draft. I mean, all these kids have a lot of talent, but it's funny because we might never even see Daniel Faalele touch the field. We might never see Andre Cisco start. Like, these guys could just randomly not be as good as the starters and then just get buried. It's just weird, isn't it? It's weird how, like, nobodies can be somebodies, and then somebodies could eventually be nobodies. It's just something that just crossed my mind. It was a little bit weird. Chargers, looking at you guys, I mean, we could be going after a slot corner if we want to get, like, an eventual replacement for, I mean, we're going to probably go edge here just to get some extra edge depth with a guy like Quincy Roche, but yeah, you guys are in win now mode, but just an idea, we could, never mind, we're just going to get off that idea. We're going to get off that idea. We could have went for Kerry Vincent Jr., my God. We could have went for him, but I think that probably would be best not to. Looking at, of course, the Vikings, we got to go interior offensive lineman or tackle, and honestly, Brady Christensen might not be a bad pick here, but I think Tevin Jenkins, if you want to keep Ezra Cleveland at guard, if you can solidify that right tackle spot pretty solidly with Tevin Jenkins, and again, you run the ball all the time, right? Like, you run the ball 24/7, and you need protection, right? So we got to be going with Tevin Jenkins here. That's going to be a high-end pick for you guys, somebody who will pay off big dividends in the long run. Worst case scenario, he's a really good swing tackle. He plays very, very high level at Oklahoma State, so I'm 100% confident that he's going to be perfectly fine in that scheme. Of course, I would love to have Israel Mukuamu at this spot. That would have been awesome. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait, or else we're going to have to use free agency money. It's just, the cornerback class is honestly pretty garbo. If we're looking at it, like, what? We're pretty much, if we're in the third round, we're reaching on a corner. That's a little bit rough. And I had to reach for Elijah Molden. So this cornerback group, unfortunately, for the Arizona Cardinals is really thin. Really thin. It is kind of bottom heavy. You have guys like Greg Newsome here, Ambry Thomas here, Marco Wilson, Robert Rochelle. You have guys like Tree Castro Fields. But all these guys, Josh Jobe as well, they probably won't even do anything in the NFL. There's a good chance. But looking at the guys who are available, Trey Sermon, after his injury, is probably going to be dropping quite a bit. He's just been super injury prone over his entire career, and the best trait is availability, right? So unfortunately, Trey Sermon is not going to be the best option for the team. Therefore, honestly, we have 2 third-round picks too. This is the unfortunate thing. We're going to trade back with this one because there is still Brevin Jordan on the board. And I might be trading back with the Ravens just to have some extra 4th-round value. Because looking at our needs, we could be spending it on a guy like, I don't know, we could be going on like a Pete Werner situation, but like a Merlin Robertson could be a guy who we could take in the 4th. We could be looking at, of course, the running back situation, which might be the next pick, with like a Kenneth Gainwell to be more of an all-around back versus just a pure scat back, similar to Edmonds, who probably, I think he is up for a contract, but we'll see what happens with him. But I think this is a perfect spot to trade back. The Ravens are going to have to give up quite a bit of draft capital for this. But they see on the board there is a guy in the name of Brevin Jordan. And to be honest, the Cards, it's weird. Your team is really weird. I chose them to be 13-3 this year, and we're going to be up the 2 4th-round picks because they're in win now mode. They're going to be wanting to get their options. Yes, they'll leave us with 4 4th-round picks, but just enjoy the fucking draft, all right? But to be honest, they're in win now mode. they could take an edge at the spot, but Brevin Jordan's on the board. They have to take him. They have to take him. Use some free agency money on an edge rusher, or re-sign Yannick Ngakoue because he sucks. Maybe get him on a 1-year prove-it deal. Franchise tag the F out of that MF, right? Raiders, I think we got to be focusing maybe on a free safety for you guys. We don't need, and your team is really stacked. So looking at it, we could be going for a Richie Grant in this role. Richard LeCount could be the best option, though, to replace LaMarcus Joyner, who is pretty injury-prone as well. You don't need Hamza as a true box safety. You already have Abrams there. So we're going to be going Richard LeCount. It's worth the pick. And overall, it's just super solid. Again, I'm so sorry, Cardinals. I can't get a corner for you guys at this spot. And, I mean, we could be looking at Ambry Thomas as a fun option. Just check back in round 4. We'll get plenty of corners for you guys because I know you guys need it. You guys need the depth as well. We could look at the interior offensive line. This is where we could probably take a guy like a Drake Jackson, or we could take a guy like a Tommy Kramer, or Cade Mays even. But I think at this spot, we got to be looking at running back, and it's down to Michael Carter, Kenny Gainwell, and then maybe we could even look at a guy like Master Teague, who stepped in and played really well. Jarrett Patterson's a fun guy. Like, there are guys down the board who are really solid. Chuba Hubbard as well. Honestly, with the way, like, Chuba Hubbard gets injured quite a bit, but I'm telling you right now, he was a perfect fit for this scheme. Like, 100% perfect. I don't know, like, he had an off year because he didn't have 2,000 yards. That's a little bit interesting to me, right? So, that, to me, that's a little bit of a question mark as to why we hate him so much. Like, obviously, Spencer Sanders is a very volatile quarterback, and they have a very unique scheme. But they have a zone run scheme, and that is kind of perfectly what fits with the Cardinals' mantra. Michael Carter would be a great pick, but then again, you do have Edmonds there who's similar to Michael Carter. Kenneth Gainwell is another really solid player that you could be going with, but I'm going to be a little bit generous to our boy Chuba here. I think he is getting a little underrated. He does have some injury problems, and that's okay, especially if you have guys like Edmonds to back him up. Chuba Hubbard will probably surprise people by going in the 3rd, if not 2nd round. Because, dude, he had 2,000-yard seasons. It's 2020. It's a weird-ass year. And he'll probably test pretty well. Because he does have that home run hitting ability. Washington, we're back with you guys. This is one where we might be trading back from this spot. Because, again, you guys need corners. And there's nothing here. Again, you have Kendall Fuller, who is more of a slot corner. Do correct me if I am wrong. But I'm pretty sure he's a slot corner. There's no need to do that. There's still Jalen Tweeman on the board. Still Nico Collins on the board. If you guys want to get a big target, though, Nico Collins could replace Cam Sims. That would be interesting. You guys do need some linebacker help. Holcomb is pretty solid, though. We already got you guys your safety. We got you guys your true number 2 weapon. We don't have an outside wide receiver, too. You know what? You guys might not like this pick at all, and that's okay. But Nico Collins, 6'4", speedy, like really good hands, and he's a big dude. You now have Terry McLaurin, Nico Collins, and then you also have in your slot, you have Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's going to be a really good trio. You guys are pretty much preparing for a championship run. Again, we already got the quarterback in Trey Lance as well. You want to give him a big target with how he is a little bit volatile, because I would have went Nico Collins by the next pick. That's the bottom line. Nico Collins is going to be the big option to be able to protect against Trey Lance's inaccuracies downfield. He has a big frame. It's going to be solid. Takes him away from the Bears, who can replace AR-12 with him. I think they need to keep AR-12 if we're going to be 100% fair with each other. But looking at the guys on the board, we could go Jalen Tweeman here. Honestly, a guy who I see as a better fit is Haskell Garrett. If we're going to be honest, he had 22% pressure rate. And this team, Akeem Hicks, I believe, is coming up on a contract, or Eddie Goldman. It's one of those two. But also, not to mention Akeem Hicks, I believe 32, if not 33 years old. Haskell Garrett's going to be a young developmental player who's going to spend some time on the squad just being able to learn, be able to grow. I think it's going to be super solid for the team. Looking at the Colts, we got to get some edge help for you guys. Justin Houston's probably not going to be there. Looking at guys, I mean, if you want to get, it's either going to be Hamilcar or Joe Tryon here. I think we got to go Hamilcar out of respect for him. I heard that there is first round potential on this guy, so you know what? We'll get it out of respect for him. I don't know enough about him to make a solid opinion, but I've heard that he hasn't done anything this year. So get him here at this spot. It's 3rd round. It's worth the pick. Might as well. Titans, we already know where this is going. We're going Daz Newsome. Of course we're not. We're going Elijah Moore, who is one of the best wide receivers in the country. I have a late second on him after loving it, I almost put him in the first, but watching him a little bit more, I think he's pretty limited on his route tree, especially on those out-cutting routes. He does slow around a little bit, and he gets a little knocked off his route sometimes. But he's a really talented wide receiver, great after the catch, and he's going to be super solid. Giants, honestly, I talked about this before, because we got a bigger wide receiver, of course, in Rashad Bateman, right? And then we got the next round, we got our edge with Jalen Phillips. Then, did we get another pick this draft, or did we trade back? I think we traded back. This is a perfect spot for a guy who's good after the catch. And if you want a true slot who is bursty, fun, energetic, that's Daz Newsome. I'm happy he's getting the respect he deserves, and this is the perfect spot for him. I love him to death. I love Daz. He's so fun. I thought that he was like disgustingly underrated he was at 200. I think that he's worth around a pick 90. And this is a perfect spot for him. I think these guys are 1A and 1B for the slot wide receivers. Because I don't know if I really consider, of course, Jalen Waddle to be a slot, but he could definitely be it. In that case, these guys are 2A and 2B. Now, at this spot, okay, Amon-Ra's in there. We'll just forget that comment. Forget that comment. Amon-Ra's in there too. But the Steelers, Jalen Twyman's on the board. It's a steal at this point. There's no reason to back away from that. Just certain teams need some pass rush, and then Hamilcar Rashed out of his ranking was the only reason that he got drafted there. But looking at the Rams, this is where we got to go for either some edge with a Joe Tryon to be able to learn from Aaron Donald on pass rush moves. I'm not going to pass it up even for Pete Werner. I love this idea. Joe Tryon just going to this squad. Whoo, that's going to be fun. That's going to be really fun. And speaking of edges, not trading out of any of these spots, Rashad Weaver's a really high floor dude. We could go Jordan Smith, who is younger, but I think that we got to go Rashad Weaver. He is a bit older. We're looking at him late 97, so he will be turning 24 during the year. But I think that your team is more playoff built, and you need to continue keeping that pass rush presence. Have a guy who's already fully developed in Rashad Weaver, and then be able to develop him a little bit more in the NFL. I think that's going to be a really solid pick right there for the Dolphins. Just be able to fix up the squad a little bit. Bucks. I don't think that there's really any needs on your squad. We could be going linebacker, though, because we don't know who they are going to be retaining in that linebacker core. Because I'm pretty sure Levante David might be on contract here. This could be a spot where we see a kind of a shot pick. Somebody with an extremely high ceiling. A guy like Charles Snowden, who is a pass rusher as well. He will play more of that outside linebacker / cover guy. And that's perfectly going to be... he's going to be a great understudy to... to Levante David. So you guys might not like the pick because you might think that's a reach. I don't think so. He's 6'7". He's rangy. He's fun. I think we are going to see him go in round 3 just based off of the immeasurables. And then you can obviously see he plays really good coverage. Just needs to learn how to play in the run game a little bit more. Levante David can help him out with that. Vikings, we're back with you guys. And again, yeah, we have like 4 Vikings picks. We got to go this interior defensive line, man. We still got Lee McNeil on the board. Ranked like 90-something PFF grade. He's played really solid every single snap. He's just a super solid dude. Get him in there with Michael Pierce and be able to be able to re-establish that defensive front that people feared from the Vikings. That's going to be super crucial. Also, speaking of like a team that used to have a very impactful defensive front, and they still do, the Browns, they could have used a guy like Lee McNeil there. Could go for Levi. I don't think so. I think the right pick at this spot would be to go corner with the Kerry Vincent Jr. because they do like the LSU boys. You know this. You guys know the analysis by this time. He's going to be able to fit in there. You got Greedy Williams. You got Denzel Ward. Now you have Kerry Vincent Jr. You have a complete young corner core as well. I think he has a lot of red flags with him, hence why he's falling. But to be 100% fair, if he's learning from Denzel Ward and Greedy, Greedy's not the greatest corner in the world, but if he's learning from Denzel Ward, that's going to be as good of a situation as you could probably go to. Bills, we gotta go either some protection here, or else we gotta go with a linebacker. Looking at it, Brady Christensen could definitely be a Bill. I could 100% see that. Pete Werner might be the guy to get, though, to be able to keep there with Matt Milano. Honestly, we're gonna take him. He could be definitely a Bill. I kind of see. I'm forgetting his name. It's a little bit annoying. Kiko Alonso in Pete Werner. Of course, not as dirty of a hitter as Kiko Alonso is, but we saw Kiko on the Bills for a little bit, and honestly, he was kind of a beast. So add him with Milano, add him with, of course, Edmonds in there. You're going to have one of the best young trio of linebackers in the entire league. That's going to be great. Now, Packers, you guys are probably going to need a linebacker as well, so that kind of sucks. I like to get you guys linebackers early. Check round 4 coming back. We might be taking Baron Browning or Merlin Robertson at that point. I think this spot you got to get interior defensive line, especially with Levi on the board. He was graded by some of us here as on the channel as a first rounder a couple like last year, I think even. So Levi, it's a Washington interior defensive lineman. You see Vita Vea coming out. These guys are absolute animals. Even the guy on the Rams, I don't know his name, obviously. He was like a 5th round pick or something. He makes some big impact plays too. Washington knows how to groom their interior defensive linemen very, very well. Kansas City, we're either going to be going a wide receiver here, or we're going to go tackle. I think you got to go Brady Christensen at this point. There's no doubt in my mind you got to get a guy with some experience, with a very, very, very high level of play. Brady Christensen deserves to be in the 2nd round with how well he's been playing. Been progressing every single year and has been playing at a high level, unlike anything that we have really seen. Patriots, I would probably go Levi if he were here, but looking at it, we can't do that. And the tight ends, it's a little rough. Not gonna lie. We have the fans going off, and that's okay. But it's a little bit rough for a spot right now. We already know Bill Belichick likes to trade down. I'm gonna be targeting Colby Harvey-Peel later on. So with that being said, we probably should trade down. Who is still on the board? You still have Hunter Long on the board if you wanted to do that. But a team that might need a strong safety, we're looking for it. I can't see too many teams. There is the Jags, though. They could 100% use a guy like Hamza Nasir-Dean. So the Patriots are going to be trading down with the Jaguars, who they faced a couple of years ago in the AFC Championship, in order to... Okay, we flipped it. We flipped it, boys. We got to do that. Okay, so we got to go there, then we got to go there. They're going to be moving up to select Hamza Nasir-Dean. They need to get safety badly. And no team would trade up. I mean, Bill's trading back 6 spots in order to get an extra 7th. With how many holes are on the roster, then again, you have 7 dudes coming back. I think it's going to be a very smart decision to go this way. Hamza Nasir-Dean, 100% is going to be the pick there. You got to get safety. And Hamza is going to be an amazing box safety. You see him. Look at him, 6'4", 215. I mean, he's just super rangy. He's fun. He's energetic. Should be 100% gone by probably mid-3rd. And this is just it's a steal at this point. I seriously don't know why the computer fan's going off that crazy right now. But Chargers, let's look at you guys. And looking at the guys who are available, I honestly can't see a good pick. We could go Tylan Wallace, though. He'd be a fun addition to the squad. I think that there's another guy who I probably want to target down the line, like an Anthony Schwartz. And that's probably going to be the way we do go down the line. But looking at it right now, there's still running backs on the board. I'm telling you right now, this is not going to be the Chargers pick. The Jets could be looking for a tight end, though. 100%. The Jets are going to be moving out for Hunter Long because Chris Herndon's been pretty butt cheeks. And, I mean, we could have seen even... I'm bugging. The Texans move up for him, but the Jets are going to be actually moving up. I think they're moving up twice, right? So that's going to be quite an interesting move. Why did I switch to the NFC? Why? We're going to be moving up with the Chargers, and they don't have too many picks left, but we're going to be trying to ask for the 7th in return. Honestly, with how it's going, we're going to ask for a next year's 7th to return, because a 3rd and a 6th, like a late 4th, or early 4th, pretty much a late 3rd, to move back essentially this much, you shouldn't give up just the 6th. So we're going to ask for that next year 7 in return. Now, the Jets, they're going to be here saying okay, Hunter Long is here. They could be going a wide receiver if they want to for a Seth Williams. But I think that we could probably trade up again if we wanted to. Hunter Long's going to be the best guy. He's the best weapon left on the board. And he's going to be somebody who could fill in for Chris Herndon. And again, they have Wesco there. That's 100% true. But Herndon's going to be coming up on a contract soon. And Hunter Long has that tight end 1 potential. I think that's 100% going to be worth it. Of course, this is usually where I like to go with Elijah Molden. But of course, with all the cornerbacks opting out and going back to their schools, we can't do that anymore. So, unfortunately, Saints, looking at the guys who are on the board, you got Michael Carter, you got Seth Williams on the board. There are probably teams who do need a wide receiver too. And, obviously we already took one for the Bengals. Looking at the other teams that could use them, the Rams, if they run into cap issues, 100% could. We could even look at the Titans trying to move up for Seth Williams. 100% could see that happening. So we're right now going to be potentially targeting that. And I think we're going to do it. honestly, with the guys who are within proximity of moving up with the Saints, I think that the Titans are going to be the best move right now to move up. So the Titans are going to be moving up with the Saints. We're going to see how they play this weekend. And we're going to... That is really weird. Hold up. Okay. So that 6th round is going to be coming in. Yeah, I think, dude, you're moving back 3 spots. So apparently, this is all based off of a mathematical model. So you guys who are complaining about it, it's all based off of historical trades between teams. It's pick value times historical value for the pick value for teams, hence why the Giants don't like to trade back anyways. So given that, the Titans, they are going to be, I know they could probably use a corner, but they are going to be looking at a guy like Seth Williams or Tylan Wallace. I love Tylan Wallace to death, but Seth Williams is going to be the bigger guy who is going to be able to come in as well as replace Corey Davis, who's probably going to be asking for a little too much money, especially with, they have a lot of big contracts coming up. Seth Williams as well as Elijah Moore, and you have A.J. Brown. Is going to be a really, you're going to continue a great wide receiver core just in one draft. Cowboys, we're back and looking at it. We probably want to go edge here to fit the squad a little bit better. And you're either going to be in win now mode or else you're going to be in, I think Shakatoni is going to be the best option here. He has a lot of experience. He's a very good talent. Jordan Smith is great talent as well, don't get me wrong, but Shakatoni has been playing and he's been working with some of the best talent, Jason Away, Utur Gross Matos, these guys who have a lot of talent. Penn State knows what they're doing, and they have like one of the best pressure rates in the country. There's a reason for it. It's Shakatoni, as well, of course, as Jason Away. So Rams, looking at you guys, we either got to go interior offensive line here to get some extra youth and some extra depth, or we got to go corner. I don't know why the hell I click corner. Linebacker, and looking at it, I mean, realistically, Merlin Robertson's a 3-down linebacker. I don't think that we can pass up on that. 100% going to be going Merlin Robertson here. And he's somebody who the Rams could probably use. Their 2 linebackers are under 40 PFF grade on the year. That hurts. That hurts a bit. So I'm definitely not down to do that. But of course, now out of UAB, Jordan Smith can go at this spot. So the Saints collected a 6th round pick as well as getting Jordan Smith. So that's going to be wonderful. Oh man, dude, I have the exact pick in mind for the Patriots too. It's so annoying, but check back tomorrow. We're going to be doing round 4. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the like button, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. I'll see you on the far side. Peace.